Welcome to Project Monday, where I start a project and I show up every Monday until it's finished, no matter how long that takes. Let's get started. So last week I mentioned doing bubble text around all the existing aliens in the project. So I'm going to start with that this morning, getting the bubble text ready to go to be placed into the project. Then we're going to introduce a new alien with a few more panels, and we'll see how far we get. My intention is to finish those panels and get them into the mat. We're going to fill this in with gray so that our text will stand out. And we might have to go over this a couple times just to get a good solid base. If you go nice and slow, you won't have to go over it as much the second time. Along the way, you'll cross bridges, whether it's comparing yourself to another talented person or another artist or somebody that you admire, or telling yourself that erasing will ruin a picture, or that you shouldn't start a project if you know you don't have the skills to do it, afraid to try new things. You just know that growth comes from all those facets, that you'll grow as an artist if you do try new things. You'll grow as an artist if you do erase and keep going on the picture until you feel it's complete. Or if you need to trace something to further the progression of your vision for the project. Just don't let those thoughts be deterrents from creating art or making you stop. Art is a good friend. It'll always be there for when you want to express yourself, or you just want to get away from the mundane, whatever you consider mundane in your life. All our experiences are a bit different. But that's my hopes for this project, is that it helps someone realize those roadblocks and that they and identify them as roadblocks. When you have those thoughts, you can just pause and tell yourself, okay, I recognize this thought. It's not true. It's just something that it's going to hold me back if I let it. It's always about having time into something. Without that, there's no understanding, there's no expectation, there's no end point, there's no beginning point. Understanding is just half the battle. So you also have to put in the work and the effort. You have to be consistent. Show it for yourself more than anything. And everything else is just a bonus. And everything else, all the pieces will start falling into place if you just keep going and ignore the negative thoughts. Listen to your own reasoning. If it's positive, of course. If you're coming from a position of love, you're generally thinking the right way. If there's any malice or hate or intent, wrongful intent in those thoughts, you're wrong. You're just bullying yourself or someone else. which is even, worse. I mean, be kind to each other. Deal with things one day at a time as they come. Change the things you can, control the things you can, and leave the rest up to the cosmos. Don't spend any of your energy unnecessarily. Safeguard that energy. If you need a break from what's going on around you, join art. Join that art walk. Find an outlet for yourself. It doesn't even have to be art. Everything's art. It could be woodworking. It could be anything. It could be cooking. Whatever you're passionate about. Whatever slows your mind down long enough to think about what's going on around you. Be proactive about guarding your own heart, your own feelings. You only have one heart. You only have one soul. You only have one shot at this. Make it count. Be kind to yourself. All right. This first bubble box is going to go over the city. I'm looking at the project here to my right. And I'm going to call this city Hope City. Hope City. This next panel is going to be about tracing. So this next bubble box will be the thought that the alien gave me, metaphorically speaking, of course, that tracing, if you traced, you weren't an artist. I'm going to go back over that with gray and redo that because I don't like how that ran into it. This next panel is going to be, or this next bubble box for the next panel is going to be if it was the thought that if you erased, then your project's ruined. And then this last bubble box, it was the thought, the alien, that told me that I shouldn't even start a project if I didn't have the skills to do it. Then I'm going to put a little shade in this. So I already put a little bit in there. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just a little bit, just to give it some character. Right. Just roll that gray in a little bit of black. You can go light and then you can just roll it into the black again. Give it a little depth, a little shading effect that I've learned to be the hack with Posca pens. There's our bubble boxes. And we'll put these in the panel. We'll get the other 3 panels done in our new alien. So this was a time when I was struggling whether or not I was talented enough to draw. I was really self-doubting myself. That self-doubt of wondering if you're good enough is probably one of the worst thoughts that I had as a young artist here. I was in my mid-teens. Really led to a lot of I don't even want to start a project because I know I can't do it, or just afraid to try new things. So yeah, wondering if I'm even talented enough. Glad I didn't let that make me quit completely for the rest of my life. This is when holes in your jeans were a thing. They might still be. I don't know. I'm sitting in a park here, sketching little critters. That was probably one of the first things I really enjoyed drawing was little critters. And perspective is always key right here. Just getting an idea of what direction to go to make different shapes so that the overall composition looks realistic and in tune with the environment. Don't let those aliens bully you. Don't let those thoughts haunt you. Don't let them rent space in your head. It's not fair. This is probably the worst alien, one of the worst aliens in this project. One of the worst thoughts. Definitely feeding off of my doubt. Sometimes confronting bullies or confronting thoughts can be a vulnerable situation, really. Because you have to remember these things and you have to think about them and think about how they affected you, how they robbed you. But part of moving forward is addressing that. Butterflies remind me of my grandma, my great grandma, one of my favorite women in my life. She was a blessing. But every time I see butterflies, it reminds me of her. I think about her often. And visiting these panels brings me back to that. I go outside the lines a little bit just to get a little more perspective. That, and also it helps when I go to put them in the panels that I don't come shy of the opening of the mat. I'll put some bushes and trees back here. And I envision the background just sort of fading. It's not going to be super defined. The focus is that butterfly. In the foreground, flowers. Probably some grass in here. Something I would have been drawing from sitting here on the park bench. I'm going to start up here because my hand's naturally going to rest here. I'm not going to bother drawing windows in there. I'll just put little dots. I'm seeing the light spilling out from the lights from the buildings there. I like to fill the whole page. So whenever I'm doing a panel, I like to fill the whole panel. I don't like to just leave things alone. Gotta fill the whole page. That's my tendency as an artist. Posca pens are pretty cheap, so this is a low entry. You're not going to spend a lot of money on supplies. So if you want to grab yourself a set, this is a good way to go. Especially for painting. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to it, to just heavy acrylics or even acrylics, or probably not as much heavy acrylics, but it's sort of similar. I'd say probably a thinner acrylic for sure. Like flow. I don't know what they call that. That type of acrylic. I've only worked in heavy acrylics because I like texture when I paint. I like brush strokes. I used to paint houses, so brush strokes were always front and center. Whether you're painting trim in a house and you need nice even brush strokes, understanding the acrylic and what it does is a big part. How it lays down over time, how it changes colors. It's not the same color as when you lay it down. It changes. So learning those kinds of things when you're dealing with colors is paramount. The sketch can always look rough with just pencil, and after you erase it to get the lines down so that you can paint over it without the graphite showing through the paint, it looks a little rough. But once you start putting color to it, it really starts coming to life, breathing life into the painting. I'm sure glad I didn't give up or listen to those thoughts. Maybe it's because I'm too stubborn. But I'm here to tell you, be stubborn too. Don't let those thoughts detour you from creating art. Share your art with people. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your art with people, you don't have to. It's a personal thing. It's something you enjoy doing yourself, and when you're ready, you'll do it. Because I think every artist comes to that point in life. They feel they need to share their art. They need to share their story. I'm a storyteller. Most artists are storytellers. That's what they're doing when they draw. I don't leave any room for doubt in this project because it's about me. It's about my story. It's about being vulnerable. It's about sharing that in hopes that it helps somebody else. Showing other people my faults so they don't have to go down that same road. I have links down in my description for everything I used, from the paper to the pens to the studio gear that I use. It's not always on camera, but stuff that helps me create. And if you're an inspiring creator, I'd say go for it. Don't do it expecting to blow up or go viral or anything. You might. I mean, I don't know. But the thing is do it for yourself. Do it for passion. So you don't set yourself up for any kind of disappointment. Just do it because you enjoy doing it. Do it as a hobby. Do it as a hobby, friends. Shading technique. I like to use this technique whenever I want to shade something. That way I get a good blend with the colors. I just roll the pen in the color I want to shade it with, and usually it's black. The same thing whenever I got a path here. This is a river or a creek. I leave a little bit of white for highlights to break up what looks like the surface of the water to me. And just be random with it. Nothing's real consistent in nature. There's a lot of randomness in nature. It's what makes it so great and kind of bulletproof. I mean, you want to go in a semblance of a direction there. Where you going, babe? Where you going? A lot of what art is for me is a panoramic view of my life, my journey. I when I'm drawing, I like to think a lot. I'm a thinker. I'm going to think about all kinds of things. It's a time for introspection and just reflection. It's a very meditative process for me. Building my own world. And a lot of this world here derives from truth. The truth of my childhood. A truth of my art walk. Just the things that I've accomplished, the things that I've failed at, the things that drove me, the things that held me back. This alien telling me that I'm not good enough, that that I don't have the skills to complete a project, don't start it. But this alien in particular is telling me that maybe I'm not good enough to be an artist, to share with others, to take criticism, to give criticism. I still, to this day, I don't like to critique other people's art. I don't like to tell them what they're doing right or wrong. It's not something I enjoy doing. I feel it's a negative thing. All I can really do, what I excel at, is just sharing my experience, in hopes that people glean from that what helps them the most in their journey. The art community is a diverse community. There's a lot of different points of view. I think art should be simple. I think it should be, do you like to create? Does it make you feel good? If so, do it. Art has progressively become my favorite outlet. One of the favorite things I like to do in life. A lot of that's because it allows me to slow down, to think, to appreciate in another way, other than just meditative thought. It allows me to appreciate things, to express my heart mentally to myself, my self-talk. It allows me to slow things down. When I'm drawing, I'm thinking of the story, and I like to express that story when little thoughts come to my head about it. It's part of drawing for me. She's going out and doing a scan of the perimeter. She does that about this time of day after she wakes up from her nap. Yeah, she's a good watch kitty. I've been a dad several times. I've raised a few cats in my time. And as I've gotten older, it's better for them, I'm sure. I don't move around. I don't leave them by themselves. I don't, it's one of those things. As you get older, things change. Your priorities change. Your view changes. I'm going to leave just a little bit of white in that eye for a highlight. And I'm going to do a similar thing over here. About like that, huh? So this alien is essentially telling me that I'm not talented enough. That maybe I shouldn't even be drawing because I'm never going to be talented enough. So we're going to cut these panels out, and we're going to put them on the project board behind the mat that we colored last week, and continue telling the story. She had a bath yesterday, and she smells awesome. She doesn't get a bath very often, and she takes them well. So every once in a while, I'll give her a bath. and I think she likes it. She gets happy. Usually after a bath, she'll cuddle with me. She'll sit on my lap while I'm reading a book or doing whatever, and just motorboat. There it is, you guys. We're gonna cut them out. We're gonna put them on the project or in the project behind the mat that we painted last week. Right, Bella? What do you think? This is gonna look good? Yeah. She just has to be present. She's personality all in of herself. All right, guys. All right, guys. There's the panels. This is me drawing in the park, drawing critters, my critter friends out in the park. This is the alien telling me while I'm drawing that I'm not talented enough to draw. That maybe I should just give up drawing at this point. Glad I didn't. All right, guys, I'm going to get this in the project, and I'll show you guys what that looks like once that's done. If you guys made it this far into the show, thanks for watching. Bella and I appreciate it. This is Project Monday, where we start a project. We show up every Monday until the project's finished. I'm really confident about the direction this project is going, and I can't wait till next week to show you guys more. See you guys next week. From Bella and I, peace.